Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. We are doing a get ready with me today and I'm so excited for this one because I always do structured tutorials on my channel, as you guys know, and after a while it kind of just gets like boring. Like I feel like I sit here, I listen to music or whatever, I just put on makeup and that's that. But I feel like this one, I got to chat with you guys a little bit and I'm very happy with how the look came out. It's super natural. We did use the Morphe 35O palette, which I know that a lot of you guys always request that I use, so we definitely brought it back for an everyday glam look with some nice staple lashes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. It is a little bit longer. It is like a get ready with me tutorial-ish because I have a really tough time like sitting in front of the camera and like not like telling you guys what I'm doing. I will get better with doing like get ready with me's where I'm just kind of like chatting with you guys. But until then, we're just going to have to roll with this. So guys, if you want to see how to achieve this super natural everyday makeup look, then just keep on watching. Hey guys, I did try filming this video on Friday of last week, and we had some technical difficulties, and the video did not come out how I thought I was watching it in my viewfinder, so I was a little disappointed about that. And that is why this video is going up a little bit later than Sunday. So, I hope that that is not a problem with you guys, but I did jump out of the shower. I applied my skincare, which I have been loving lately, and I've been using the Banished Vitamin C Beauty Elixir, and then I've been using the Bioderma Light Moisturizing Care, and this is a gel moisturizer. These two together have been literally saving my life and my skin for the past couple weeks, so I cannot thank them enough. Before like I ramble on too much longer, let's just start with the video. I'm going to start by priming my skin. I'm using the Benefit PoreFessional Primer. I've been using this primer for about a couple months now, and I used to use it a couple years ago and I loved it then, and then I kind of just branched away and I was using the Makeup Forever Smoothing Primer, and I don't know, I've kind of just fallen back in love. It just makes my skin look super smooth and it really helps with adhering the foundation and also making the foundation look at its best. I feel like primers are super necessary for makeup. I always have been like a pro primer person, so yeah, I think it's very important to like get a good primer and stick with it. Next, what we're going to be doing is color correcting this 5 o'clock shadow, and I'm using the LA Girl Pro Cosmetic Concealer in the shade, I think it's orange. Yeah, it's orange. And I am just going to be putting this on the back of my hand. I've noticed that by applying it directly to my face, it comes out a little too harsh. So I've been applying it with this Sigma 3D HD Precision Concealer Brush. And I'm just taking a little bit and just going over my 5 o'clock shadow, because orange counteracts like the bluish purple undertone of a beard. So I am getting laser. That is why my 5 o'clock shadow is not as bad as it used to be. So I'm very happy about that. I go back to my second laser appointment on, oh my god, this is a cute look. I go to my second laser appointment in 2 weeks on the 22nd of February. And I'm very excited to see like how the results are this time compared to like my first time and all that. And with a beauty blender, I like to make sure that they're super damp now. I'll run it underneath the water and I'll squeeze out the excess, but I won't like grab a towel and like absorb any more water, because I've noticed that it just applies everything better when you kind of leave it a little bit more on the damp side. We are going to go in with some foundation. I am using the L'Oreal Pro Infallible Foundation in the shade 105 and 102. So I'm going to mix those two together on the back of my hand. I usually apply a little bit more of the 102 because that's closer to my skin color. And then I apply the 105 for a little bit of warmth because I do have like a yellow undertone. And then I'm going to mix a little of this LA Pro Conceal. This is just a white foundation. I use this to kind of get my perfect match, and it's great if you're a makeup artist. You can kind of like bring one foundation and get so many different shade ranges from it. So I have been loving that. So I'm just going to mix it on the back of my hand, and then I'm going to just dab it all over my face. I'm starting with my face first because I am going to do like really natural eyes today, so I'm not really worried about like a ton of fallout. I just need the most coverage kind of on the bottom portion of my face where my 5 o'clock shadow, I guess you could say, is. Other than that, I kind of take it really light throughout the rest of the face because I really don't need that much coverage everywhere else. So I'm going to be taking a different beauty blender because I do not like mixing the one that I use for the orange concealer with my foundation. I think that it can kind of ruin the color of the rest of your face. So I just like to take a different beauty blender and blend in the foundation. I will be taking it down on my neck because I want to make sure that our neck matches our face. As you guys can see, half of my face is already concealed and you can't see any of the darkness anymore. Plus this foundation is very full coverage, so that also helps when you are trying to cover a 5 o'clock shadow, but you always want to color correct first because if you don't, then you can always like run into the issue of being super cakey because you're just applying layer after layer after layer of foundation and you don't want that. You don't want to look super cakey, so I like to just color correct first, kind of cancel out the color, and then go over it with coverage. Next, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be cream contouring. I know that that may sound a little bit out of order, but the reason that I do that is because if I apply too much of this, after my concealer is already on, I'm going to have to go in with tons more concealer and then everything gets cakey. So I like to cream contour first and then I can clean everything up with concealer. If I feel like my face looks a little too dark, I can always lighten it up with some concealer. So that is why I kind of jump out of order and I will do cream contouring first. And I'm using the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Toast. I have been loving their concealers lately for cream contouring and color correcting. I think that they're so pigmented. I don't really like them for underneath my eyes, but I do like them for around the face. I think that they blend really nicely. They're very pigmented. I'm going to dot this up here on the top of my forehead. And honestly, guys, with this, a little bit goes a long way. And I'm going to jump back in with the concealer, with the beauty blender that I used for my, the redness. And I will just blend this into the hairline. You can always add more if you want, but I don't like to go too crazy. I just kind of want to warm up my skin. I've been loving the cream contouring lately. I feel like it just looks, I can't tell you. I used to hate it because I was like, oh God, this is so pointless. You gotta go back over it anyway with a powder, so why are you wasting your time? But I've noticed like a really huge difference with like my contour looking a little bit more on the natural side and my face all over not looking like white. I feel like sometimes foundation can really just give you guys that like, that, I don't know what I want to say. Like, it's can just kind of wash you out a little bit. So I'm feeling that cream contouring kind of just brings back a little bit of the warmth into your face and makes you look a little bit more natural. Now what I kind of do is just draw dots. And I kind of just draw the dots like sporadically all over my cheek. And then I will just take the beauty blender and blend it in. And I really make sure to push this into my skin. I really, really, really want to blend this out. I don't want it to be harsh. And I want it to look kind of semi on the natural side. You got to be careful with these concealers because they are so pigmented that it can get a little bit crazy a little bit quick. And then I'm just going to kind of just run this over my nose. I was kind of just cream contouring my nose like with the lines, but then I was noticing it looked a little too fake and I wasn't really feeling it. So I'm just going to kind of run it whatever is left on the sponge. And as you guys see, it's contouring my nose but not being harsh. It's just looking super natural. Okay, so now what we're going to be doing is concealing. I'm going to be going in with the Naked concealer in the shade Light Neutral. And I'm going to be highlighting just like we normally do underneath the eyes. We're just going to draw little like wings as usual. And I'm going to drag this a little bit farther back. As you guys know, I like to widen my face. It just kind of makes me look a little bit more feminine, and I feel like I have a super long face, so I like to kind of just like give myself a little bit of a facelift. And I'm going to be taking a generous amount on my chin just to kind of counteract any of the red concealer. I feel like sometimes I have to color correct my color correcting because the red can sometimes be a little bit too intense and it can kind of peek through and just make your skin look a little bit on the orange side. So I like to just take my time, and if I have to go over with like concealer and like lighten it up a little bit, that's what I do. So I'm going to be taking the Beauty Blender again and just going to town. The reason that I like to wait for my under eyes to be last is because I don't want it to crease that much under there. So I feel like if I blend it out too early, then I kind of risk creasing a lot. So I just kind of wait and do that as my last step. So now we're going to go in and set my face, and we are using the CoverGirl translucent powder, and I'm going to be taking this Sigma tapered highlighting brush F35 and setting underneath my eyes first. I like to set there first because I don't want it to crease, so I like to just give it no time to settle into any lines, and I look up when I'm applying the powder and pushing it into the skin so there's just really smoothness and it's super tight, and then there's no lines. So now we're going to move on to the eyes, and I'm using the Morphe 35O palette. I do get tons of requests to use this palette more often. I just feel like it's all over the internet. It's been all over the internet for like a year now. So I feel like there's so many tutorials, but I do really, really love this palette. I have dug really into it. It's so dirty, but I thought we'd come back with another Morphe tutorial just because why not? Jaclyn Hill is coming out with her new palette, so I was like, let's get back into the hype of Morphe eyeshadows. I feel like I haven't used them in a while. I've been really stuck on MakeupGeek, which is great because her shadows are amazing, but I feel like we need to kind of branch out a little bit. So we're going to jump in with this color right here. I'm not sure what the name is. They don't have names. So if you have the palette, then you guys can just kind of go in with this color. This is going to be our transition shade. And I'm just going to be applying it with a, oh, this is the MAC 224. I haven't used this brush in ages. So I'm just going to be applying it kind of in the crease a little bit, not messily, but it's just going to be our transition shade. So once there's nothing left on the brush, we're just going to kind of buff it upwards and kind of out. So the next color we're going to be taking is this shade right here. This is like a nice brown. It's not too warm, which is okay because I feel like I always am doing a lot of really, really, really warm looks here on my channel. So we're kind of like trying to switch things up a little bit. This is still a warm brown, but it's not like an orange. And I'm going to take this color all the way in, also in my crease. This is definitely going to give us a little bit of depth because it is a little bit darker than the other one. So as you see, our eyes are going to start getting a little bit more defined in the crease. So that's why I'm focusing this kind of mainly in the crease. And then once there's nothing left on my brush, kind of just blend it into the other shadow that we had down. And I am using a Sigma E40 brush. I do have a coupon code with Sigma. It is just my name. I will have down in the description bar down below. It's going to be for 10% off if you guys want any of Sigma's products. And we're going to be using a Smith 247 brush, and we're going to add one more color that's going to be the darkest shade of the entire eye. And I'm feeling doing this shade right here. It's a little bit warm. It's kind of like a brick orange shade, which I think is gorgeous. And I'm just going to be using, like I said, this Smith 247. I like this brush for really precise crease work because it is so dense and it is so tightly compact. I can just work the shadow wherever I want it. So this, I wanted to focus right directly in the crease, and that's what we're doing. Okay guys, so now we're going to be going in with this shade right here. It's just a really bright, I don't know how I would describe the shade, but it's just a really pretty shimmery color, and we're going to be focusing this on the lid. Be careful because these tend to have a little bit of fallout, so you don't want to get it kind of all over your under eye. But I like to just kind of pat it on my eye, so there's a lot less fallout if you just pat your eye instead of kind of swiping the product. I feel like it's not as like bright on my lid as I want it to be, so I am going to spray my brush with a little bit of setting spray, and then I will just kind of pack on more of the shadow. See how much more metallic that is when you kind of just spray your brush with a little bit of water? That is what I was looking for. After that, we are going to apply some lashes, and I am using these new lashes from Vegas Nay. These are by Eylure, and these are called the Luxe Collection Bronze Beauty. These are new, and I've never worn these before, so I am definitely excited to try these out. You guys know that this is my favorite drugstore lash brand of all time, so I'm only expecting the best from this, but then again, like I said, I've never tried this specific one before, so I guess we'll see. So I went ahead and applied these lashes off camera. These are so pretty. Like, I think that these lashes look the best with like a natural look like this. They're kind of just wispy, kind of spread out. I think that they're so gorge, and I really, really, really like them. So I'm not surprised that I do, because this brand for drugstore lashes is amazing. Now we're going to finish off the skin, so we're going to go in and bronze up with Hoola bronzer. I've been loving this lately for just kind of all over contouring. I don't really like to contour much anymore. I feel like it looks too gray on me, and I don't think that it's flattering. I like myself in more of a warm contour, so that is why Hoola bronzer is my favorite. So I'm just going to go over the areas that we had already applied that cream contour, kind of just reinforce it a little and kind of set it. Even though we did set it with translucent powder, I want to go over it with a little bit more, because sometimes that can get lost when you set it with like a translucent powder. I'm just kind of going super lightly because we already do have the base down from the cream. So if you go a little too heavy-handed with the bronzer, it's going to make you kind of look Oompa Loompa-y. Then I'm just going to take whatever is left on the brush and kind of just run it along my nose, kind of where we contoured before. Because I feel like sometimes it gets a little bit messy when you cream contour, I am going to just clean up underneath my contour with a little bit of translucent powder. I feel like I haven't done this in a really long time, but lately I feel like when using the cream contour I have to, because it kind of can get a little bit messy. And I kind of just gave myself a little chin strap. You guys don't have to do this. I don't let it sit too long because I feel like it kind of over dries my skin out a little. So I'll just kind of take the brush after I've let it sit for a second and just dust that away. So next is blush, and we're going to be using the MakeupGeek blush in Romance. This definitely reminds me of Warm Soul. I think that it's very pretty. It's got a little bit of shimmer to it, but we are going to add some highlight on top of it. I am using the Smith 118 brush, which is their blush brush, I think. If not, it's what I use it for. And we're just going to kind of just apply it on the apples of the cheek. Okay guys, so we are going to be applying a shadow as a highlight, and I'm going to be using this one right here. It's a little bit of a rosy pink highlight, but let's see how it looks. Because I feel like I want to highlight a little bit more, I'm going to just take a little bit on the tip of my nose and kind of just down the bridge a little. Also, I am going to take a little bit underneath the brow bone. We're going to be taking that same dark shade that we applied as the last shadow in our outer corner, and we are going to use a Morphe M432 on our lower lash line. It's just a flat definer brush. I'm pretty sure every brand has a brush like this. And we're just going to smoke out the lower lash line. Okay, so after all of that is done, we're going to apply some lower lash mascara. We are using my favorite, which is the Benefit Roller Lash. I love this for my lower lash line. So I'm going to jump practically into the mirror to do this part. Lastly, we are going to be doing the lip, and I am not sure what I did with it. Oh. And lastly, we're going to be doing the lip, and this is the new Double the Lip, their real lip makeup lipsticks from Benefit, and this is the shade Nude Scandal, and I'm just going to be applying this on my lips. Okay, so after I did that, I kind of want to apply a little bit of a gloss, and I'm taking the Marc Jacobs gloss in Love Buzz. And that's the completed look, guys.